Hello, and welcome to our preparation for round 6 of the Africa Youth Chess Championships under 12. Um, our next opponent is going to be this guy by the name of Razafindrano Rafael. Okay, or Rafael Razafindrano. So we have to, prepare for some opening. We're playing with white. What we want to do is we want to play our Italian, but we don't know what he's going to play. So what I did was I looked at some of the games of his, and unfortunately I was only able to find two where he played with white. For some reason I could not find any online games of his, which is unfortunate. I could not find his Lichess or his chess.com profiles. I could only find these two over the board games, and in both of those over the board games, where he played with white, where he played with black, he played the Scandinavian. I am quite confident he will play it. And although we did a little cursory work on what to do against the Scandinavian, I'll just like to go and reiterate what our plans is. But before we do anything else, I'd just like to show you the man that you are playing against. Not even the man, sorry, the boy that you're playing against. So let's just take a quick look. This is the one you're playing against. He plays with when he plays with black, he has a worse win rate. So he's definitely worse at playing when he plays with the black pieces. And another thing you may notice is he's 1623, but all the times when he plays, whenever he plays against people, he loses rating against people that are lower rated than him. Every time he loses rating against people who are higher rated. He very, very rarely beats anyone that's higher rated than him. As you can see, his rating's just been falling and falling and falling. He is definitely not that strong of a player. And even if we look at over here, you're playing him on board 7. In this very same tournament, the only rated player he beat was 1400 exactly. Keep in mind, any rating below 1400 means you lose a rating. So the only player he beat was a player that was just barely rated, and now he lost against a 1500. So you were 1500 as well, so you absolutely can beat this guy. There is no question about this. So there should not be any nervousness or any worries about, oh, this player is higher rated or anything. This guy is he's not invincible. He's no Magnus. Okay, you don't have to worry about who he is. But at the same time, we don't underestimate any opponent. But at the same time, we gotta make sure that there's no fear, right? We should not have any fear when we're playing. As I believe Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So as long as we keep a level head, cool head, and focus on the game and the game itself, we should be completely fine with no matter what comes to us. That being said, he plays the Scandinavian, so I'm just going to quickly show you some of the lines that in the Scandinavian that he can potentially play. Here we go. So the Scandinavian defense, we start with e4, and he will play this move d5 potentially. Now, the whole idea of the Scandinavian is essentially just exchange this pawn and get the queen up. Now, the nice part about if he plays the Scandinavian is there's only two ways to play the Scandinavian, right? After you play knight c3, which is the move you have to play if they bring out the queen, they have two moves really. They either move the queen all the way back, or they move the queen to a5. Those are the two options that they have. There is no real other options. The computer may say queen d6, but whether they play queen d6 or queen a5, you play that in the exact same way. So that's why I'm not even mentioning it. So let's start off with the main line. Let's say they play queen a5. If they play queen a5, what do we play? We play knight f3, c6, bishop c4. It's almost like we just continue our Italian, right? We're almost continuing just our Italian, as if nothing's happening. Now here, c6 is the move, because c6, the idea behind c6 is just to move the queen back to its starting square. One of the long-term ideas of the Scandinavian is just to play e6 and play bishop here, and potentially target this weak pawn once you play d4. That's one of the things. So that's why you don't develop the dark squared bishop earlier, if I may. Like, let's say you play d4 and he plays, let's say bishop here. If you play your bishop c4, he plays e6. You should not really play your bishop out this way, because now if he plays, for example, bishop b4, you just have to move back, and you've just wasted a move for no reason. This is one of the whole ideas. Literally, one of the whole ideas behind queen a5 is just to play this bishop to b4, and then use this battery to target the king and maybe win a pawn this way. Another idea is potentially, let's say you play bishop d2 if he goes back here to try and take this pawn. The nice part about playing bishop c4 is we play backwards, and there's really nothing else he can do. If he decides to try to play aggressive like a5, you simply just ignore the threat. You just play h3, takes, and if he just continues with this threat, well, he can't, because you just take the pawn, right? It's not a real threat. If this threat for some reason does make you uncomfortable, though, you can always just play a3, sorry. And a3, in case he ever plays a4, you just move your bishop back. But again, it's not a real threat, so you just don't want to lose this pawn. You don't want to get doubled pawns with this knight. So main ideas in the Scandinavian that you need to just remember is that you have to play after takes, and if they play queen a5, you do move this pawn forward, but more than anything else, you just have to ensure that you play bishop d2 to protect this. And if they decide to play, for example, queen b6, you just move your bishop back this way. This is one of them. This is the main threat in the Scandinavian, because other than that, genuinely, it's just normal. It's just normal chess, right? It's just a normal developing game. You castle, you play h3, create a lock for your king, move your rooks to the center, maybe move your bishop back, and then you just play a normal game of chess. And then it just depends on who's better in the middle game. In terms of opening theory, there's not any particular traps, as long as you just follow the main principal ideas of development. There's really nothing too scary to wonder about in this opening. Now, is there anything else you need to know in the Scandinavian? Well, okay, let's just look at one of the variations where he moves back. So takes, let's say, you play knight c3, and instead of going this way, let's say he moves backwards. If he goes backwards again, guess what? d4, knight f6, and then now you play, let's say, something like knight here out, knight out. And here's one thing: if he decides to play something like e6 here itself, it's better to not, like, you can still play queen bishop c4. Actually, no, let me not confuse you. Let's continue with bishop c4, just so that it's similar to our like Italian. Now we can opt for, again, just like a normal kind of game. This is all that happens in the Scandinavian. It's just you trade a pawn in the center, and you just play a normal game, and then you just expand. Maybe play something like this. Takes. Oh, well, first you take this bishop, obviously. Takes. Takes. Just as an example, maybe. And then this is just like a normal game from here, and then you just play as you wish. Only one other line I guess I'll just give you is in the case of, let's say, instead of queen a5 back, there's this interesting line of, okay, if you play this and he tries and pins your queen, and he doesn't decide to take, the best move by far is g4. And this is a very nice line, because even though it may seem very aggressive for no reason, this line in particular is good purely because if he moves back, you can play this brilliant move of knight e5, and after he plays backwards, you just take the bishop, you bring out your own bishop, threatening this. If he doesn't defend this, if he plays something like f6, just an example, you just move back. This is such a terrible position for him. He has nothing developed. You can play something like this next move. Let's say he plays c6. You play, okay, not even bishop here. You play bishop d3, targeting this. He has to play this. If he doesn't take the pawn in this specific, if he doesn't take the knight in this specific position, if he doesn't know what he's doing and he just plays like this, you can play g4. The only reason I'm showing this line in particular is because it's something that doesn't seem very intuitive, but it's completely winning. So again, it's unlikely he plays this, but in the case he does, I just want to know, I don't want us to miss this chance of winning. So g4 and then knight e5, and then just taking the bishop and then continuing after that. Most things are just winning. Like, I mean, you have this strong diagonal, even though you may say, oh, your king's weak, but guess what? You don't have to castle on the king side. You can still castle on the queen side if you don't want to maintain your safety. There's nothing preventing you. The nice thing about the Scandinavian with white is you really don't have to worry about anything. There's very little theory that you need to know. You just need to play a normal game, not fall for, not be wary of this bishop coming, like with bishop d2, and that's about it. Honestly, in the Scandinavian, that's all you really need to know. So anything else that you need to know before you say, well, not really. The Scandinavian is not something that's very theory intensive. It's very friendly opening with e4, and we still get a lot of similar ideas with our Italian because we still end up playing bishop c4. Only thing that we get different is we don't play our d3 Italian, we have to play d4. So that's another thing you have to know. Like, we don't play d3 c3, which is what we used to. We had to play bishop c4 and then d4, or d4 and then d4 first and then bishop c4. Just an example. And the first move, of course, is knight c3 to kick out the queen. Maybe it goes here or goes here. It doesn't make too big of a difference. And then the bishop goes here, a chance to launch a discovered attack. Other than that, there's sometimes positions where your knight goes to e5, or even if you play bishop d2, there's positions where you go to knight to e4. Like using this discovered attack and then trading this knight to get double pawns. Let me just show that as a quick variation. Let's say he plays something like this, and if he doesn't move out of the way, let's say he plays bishop to let's say he plays bishop to f5. You can play, maybe not right now, or even right now, but like 94. You play here, taking or moving here. Both are good moves. I'm going to talk about show taking first. If takes, you double this pawns, and then you just play something like c4. If he goes for check, you just block with the bishop or the queen, depending on whether or not you want an endgame. I'd recommend the bishop, because if you do with the queen, it's just a bit drawish. I'll just show this line to its completion. You don't castle, because if you castle, you use your bishop. You play something like rook c1 to protect this pawn. Takes. This position is just better for you. Just again, the Scandinavian is very fun. There's really, really little that you need to worry about. Anyway, other than that, let's say instead of taking, you went with knight c5 here. If he plays here, guess what? You just play c4. Danger levels, right? Danger levels. You're attacking the queen. He's attacking your knight. The queen's more important, so you move back. And here you just move backwards anyway. Like this is here. You've weakened his pawn structure. There's no bishop here, so it's weak. And you just have a slightly more comfortable position. Like there's really not much in the Scandinavian to talk about. So yeah, just play your game. Don't get worried. Don't think about his rating at all. As I mentioned before, and as your very own quote, you play against the pieces, not against the rating or the opponent. You focus on your game individually, game by game, move by move, piece by piece. We will win. That's all I have to tell you today. That's all we have for the next round. Hope this rest day was very rejuvenating and allowed you to just relax a bit. But we get back into gear. We start our matches tomorrow, round 6 and round 7, and we hope we do well. That's all I have for today. Good luck. Keep rocking. Bye bye.